minutes late. I'd like to call the February 2026 Williamsburg Board of Education meeting to order. And roll call will be by Kim White.
Go for it, Kim. Williams.
Okay. Roger Faulkner, Kim Williams,
Here.
Kim White, here, Alan Steely,
Here.
Donnie Patrick.
Here.
And the pledge by Kim White.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Be seated.
The first thing on the agenda will be the approval of meeting agenda and minutes. Are there any changes to our agenda?
The only thing is in our student celebrations, we did not have noted that our high school DECA, so we will honor our DECA team. They've done some pretty awesome things, so I can't wait for them to share. And we will remove Sherry Reed and add her to the March meeting.
And change, okay. Can you hear me? Is it close enough? Okay. We need to look at the approval of the regular scheduled January 20th board meeting minutes. Do we have any corrections or additions?
So Ms. Williams sent me some corrections just on the wording, and I went ahead and corrected those, so.
If I can have a motion
I'll make a motion.
and a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed the same. And the minutes are approved. Now we'll move right into staff and student recognitions. And I believe that Ms. Housekeeper will take that on. Thank you.
So if you've never attended one of our board meetings, one of the things that we do, and it's one of my favorite things, is we have, Ms. Shauna always sends out about a week or 2 weeks prior to a board meeting requesting any nominations for Going the Extra Mile Award. And it's my favorite because peers, whether they're colleagues or students, can nominate each other for these awards. And so what's written about them is written by their peers. So this person is no stranger to Going the Extra Mile Awards, so I can't wait to read this one. Someone nominated Miss Toralia Shelley for Going the Extra Mile. I mean, I would imagine we need to get a shelf at this point for the amount of Going the Extra Mile awards that she gets. But this peer wrote, "Where do I even start with Toralia Shelley? This woman doesn't slow down, not even a little." Agreed. Not when it comes to our school, our community, or ensuring our kids have experiences they'll never forget. She consistently invests in our students and creates vibrant hands-on learning experiences for every K-12 grade level. Honestly, she's not just the best ag teacher in Kentucky. I'm convinced she is the best one on the planet. Toralia is the type of person who teaches kids the skills they need while also challenging them not to settle for average, because she never has a single day in her life that is average. She's also been a huge inspiration to me personally. I'm one of those people who tries to perfect everything, and she's forever reminding me to slow down and smell the roses, which feels appropriate coming from the ag teacher. I've lived all over central and east and southeastern Kentucky and met a lot of incredible people, but I've never met a go-getter like Toralia. And seriously, who else do you know who has decorated the White House and then casually brought live farm animals into the school during FFA week? Exactly, no one. Whatever Toralia does, she does it wholeheartedly and with the absolute best of intentions for our school, our community, and most importantly, our students. She is the definition of going the extra mile. and then sprinting a few more laps just past everyone else. Come on up, Miss Shelley. This is way squeaky. Okay, good. Thank you. Can we turn this off? It's not me? Okay, good. Okay. The next one is for a very special staff member who works very, very hard for our students who need additional supports in many areas, but also will push into classrooms and help teachers in planning, and really takes on wears a lot of other hats also. So this one is for Mr. Matt Jones. This is Matt's first year middle school, and it is so wonderful to work with him. He works hard, and more importantly, doesn't shy away from work. I mentioned in passing that a student needs help with something, and he will be at my door the next day to offer support immediately. He advocates for our students, is kind to them, and holds them to high expectations. He is a team player, and his coworkers say things like, "I have no complaints." He gives individual attention to students who are falling behind and helps them stay caught up whenever they need it. And he's always willing to do what everyone needs, no matter what's asked of him. He has a calm demeanor. You'll never know if he's upset. His students say, "He helps us with our work. He makes sure we get what we need done, and he is always nice to us." So come on up, Mr. Jones. Whoa. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Do we need to pause? Just keep going. Okay. And then Miss Sherry Reed, she's actually going the extra mile as we speak right now. We had a family in need, and Miss Sherry wasn't able to be here because she's doing that. So we will celebrate her during the March meeting. All right, so this one was a combination of celebrations. It was for 3 people, and I only see one of them here who's trying to get the squeaking to stop at this point. I think that's all that's here. But I'm going to read it anyway. Miss Donna Douglas, Zyler housekeeper, and Ethan Moses. These 3 handled a rapid identity crisis. Now, if you are not typically a school employee or a student, you don't understand what rapid identity is. Well, what has happened to every district in the state of Kentucky is rapid identity is a one-stop shop to log into everything that you're supposed to have. And it's a way to combat any kind of, or it's a security measure. Well, you can only imagine when you've got Google Classroom, Infinite Campus, your desktop, the copier, anything that you would use on a daily basis in the classroom has to go through this one-stop shop called Rapid Identity. Well, we were chosen as the first round to initiate it. Well, it stopped everything in our tracks. So what happened after the snowpocalypse was there was a crash of Rapid Identity. So we came back on a very, we made a decision that it was best for students to be back in school. Well, when we got here, the technology didn't work because everything was through Rapid Identity. So it was a panic moment. So to give you a little bit of a background, that's where this is coming from. These 3 handled a Rapid Identity crisis the day after a major snow break very calmly and are managing a new Chromebook system in the middle school. Grant was on leave. He's our CIO. They are quick, calm, and kind. I can submit a work order for a Chromebook, provide a rough location, and Zyler and Ethan will have it in hand by the next class period. Or I will ask Donna how to solve a problem, and Zyler and Ethan will come into my room the next day to rearrange the cords in my cart to ensure none of those are broken and to handle the problem. Their office is across from my room, and I watch people knock on the door all day long to no answer because no one is in there. They're always out in the school managing problems. Donna runs all over the building, answering questions, solving problems, finding creative solutions, keeping things running smoothly. She is willing to try anything to make teaching easier for teachers and to trying to take care of the squealing right now. So we'll get you in just a minute, Donna, okay? And the two other boys that were mentioned, those are student workers. And we pride ourselves in the amount of students that work in our building. Even sometimes they come back, don't they, Cabela? They come back. Okay? And then the last one is we would like to celebrate our DECA team. Okay? I really would love for you ladies to come and talk about what DECA is and then let your students kind of introduce it. I really think it's important we've tried to highlight each one of our extracurriculars, and I want you to talk about it. These are life-changing experiences for our students. While they're coming, I'm going to go ahead and read off some names, and then I'll give these ladies your certificates. They can give them to you, okay, students? Jason Moses scored in the Region 5 DECA competition. Leo Moses scored 8th in entrepreneurship. McKenna Stevens, 3rd in hotel and lodging management. Josie Van
8th grade classrooms and spoke about our DECA chapter and how students can be involved when they are in high school.
We were also featured in The Buzz, which is our student newspaper, for some of the stuff that we do and for some of the achievements through our students.
We were featured in an episode of the Jacket newscast.
We shared 3 success stories of Jacket DECA alumni with the National DECA organization.
We have hosted bake sales every month in order to raise funds for DECA competition registrations.
I've even purchased some 3D printed
Yeah.
walls. I've got those on my desk.
Which Miss Josie Vanover is the one that
Oh, awesome.
Okay. We enrolled 23 members in our DECA chapter this year.
That is huge. That's so big. That is important. We have to report those numbers, don't we? That is huge for our budgeting even.
We have I've read the wrong part, my bad. Okay. Our state competition takes place on March 1st through 3rd in Louisville, Kentucky. We are hoping to take many students on the DECA International State Career Development Conference in Atlanta in April.
That's awesome. Very good. Thank
Students, thank you for representing us so well. You'll get your plaques tomorrow.
Bring those to you.
Okay. The next thing on the agenda is the Michaela Hare will be speaking to us. She has given she has given us this, and she will be speaking to this.
Yeah, that's just the invitation and just the date and time of the event. So, hi guys, my name is Michaela Hart, and I'm a sophomore at the University of the Cumberlands, and I'm a major in exercise and sports science and a minor in sports and wellness psychology. So obviously I have a love for health and wellness, but I also have a heart for the community as well, and I'm here representing the Student Government Association at the University of the Cumberlands, where my role is to connect UC to the student and local community, so I get to combine the two things I'm most passionate about. And I'm here to talk about our April event, which is called the Unified Patriot Games. It's going to take place on April 10th at the Williamsburg Independent High School football field. And the Community Outreach and Diversity Committee are going to be collaborating with the Williamsburg Independent FMD program to combine as much of this as the community as possible to celebrate the neurodiverse students, to celebrate their unique differences and their abilities. They're just as much of a part of the community as everyone else is here, and the only difference they have is their label. And most of the time, they are put to the side, but this day is to make them the focus. Unified Patriot Games will be a unified track and field type of event, with events like relay races, 40-yard dashes, broad jump competitions, etc., just like your average track and field day, but modified versions. And as the chair of the community outreach, I maintain the role of connecting the community to UC, and over the year of being here in Williamsburg, I have seen how much the college campus impacts the city of Williamsburg. And with the Lord tugging on my heart to make more of an impact and to reach more people, I just got to start praying. And as some of y'all know, my mom is Jackie Hart, and she is the high school FMD teacher here. And talking to her and witnessing myself, I have seen just a lack of celebration of the neurodiverse individuals in this area. And instead of condemning the community for not knowing, I want to take a positive step to start to celebrate them. This is why I believe it's so important to invite and include as much of the community as possible, like local businesses, families, churches, neighbors, etc., to make the students feel so special in hopes of making the celebration of them go beyond April 10th. And this is obviously a grand idea, and I know through God's grace and guidance it will happen, but I can't achieve this alone, and we'll need the support from all aspects. I ask of y'all just to spread the word into the community, as we will be soon stepping into the community seeking sponsors, donations, and volunteers for the event. And I don't want this to be a one-hit wonder type of event. I want this to be an event that students look forward to all year long. And as well as the event, I hope to create a closer bond between University of the Cumberlands and the Williamsburg community. And as an SGA cabinet member, I hope our group can reach more of the Williamsburg community and work closely with y'all more. So yeah, that's basically it.
This sounds very similar to Special Olympics, is that?
Yes, it's kind of
Correct.
like that, but legal reasons,
Sure.
not Special Olympics.
Well, as a
yes, ma'am.
student, I participated in the Special Olympics, and it's just a
Yeah.
rewarding day for everyone.
It really
And
is.
so I think that this will be a very rewarding event.
Yes, I'm super excited about it.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
Would it be possible for you to contact our Jacket News, our Jacket News, and maybe interview there if they haven't already?
No, yeah, I'll get with Mr. Wyatt.
Okay,
Yeah, of course.
that might be another outlet
I'm
of.
sure everybody's gonna be tired of hearing from the Harves in about a month.
Yeah, well, that's okay, but that's one more outlet that we can provide here at the school and get our students excited about it.
Well, another one is, I just said I was at the radio station, and I have to do, periodically I go down and do a commercial for our school, and so I took the FFA chapter down today, and they did one. I would love to invite you, let's get it on the calendar. I could take you, because this is a community event, I think you should do a 30-second commercial for Williamsburg about this. I'd love that.
That would be awesome.
So your mom has my number.
Perfect. I'm
That's
excited.
the best way to get me.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you
I-
for coming.
I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you.
Great. The next thing will be Ms. Housekeeper's report.
Okay. I have a couple of things. I've been trying this year to constantly visit our board goals, and one of our goals is always to improve student learning. And also, part of my conversation tonight is I'm going to open up the door for you guys to ask any questions that you might have about our proposed 26-27 academic calendar. So before we get into the calendar, I'm going to have our Director of Innovative Learning come and share some very good news. I think that you will be happy to hear some updates and see some progress that our students are making. We've been working extremely hard to track progress on multiple levels. So Josh has a presentation for you guys, but you all have a handout.
This is the handout you guys will reference. Just going to double check this actually works from my computer not being back here. Oh, it does. Okay, so what I wanted to kind of go over with you guys, we have 3 times a year, we benchmark test students, fall, winter, and spring. You guys are pretty familiar with that by this point. And so just going to kind of go over the data. Whenever I did an update in the fall, obviously we don't have comparative data because we're in a new school year, so it always helps when you get that comparison. And so now that we've given the winter map window, which was quite extended with our snow, little snowpocalypse episode there for 2 weeks during the middle of our window, we've pretty much completed that at this point, and so got a lot of great highlights to share. If you look to the presentation, what I've got on the Promethean is a comparison between fall and winter. And what you're looking at is the percentage of students at grade level, okay? So that was the fall. You have these numbers in front of you, and I'm hoping this is going to work. Now I'm going to have to go back to my computer. Hang on just a second. So the black represents the fall, but this orange that I'm going to click represents the winter, okay? And so as you can see, and you have this data in front of you guys, I tried to highlight in green when we made growth, and you see a lot of green on your copy of the sheet. We had just major gains due to the efforts of our students and emphasis on instruction and continual focus on those things. And so really proud of those results. I wanted to touch on this slide. When you're approaching assessments, we're looking at reducing novice. That's often, the strategy to some degree. And what you're going to see here with the down bar graph is that this one is a visualization of how we've reduced novice in each of these grade levels over the course of from fall to winter. And so you can see that we've had, 21% fewer novice in the 5th grade, just to note, and the 11th grade. And so definitely that is something we're proud of, that our teachers have been working to just support students in that way. And then this is for reading. So I'll draw your attention. This is reading. I'm going to go over reading and math. And so most of those grade levels achieved reducing their novice from fall to winter. The next graphic here is talking about, obviously, in addition to reducing novice, we're trying to increase proficiency. And when I say proficiency, I'm the number of students proficient or distinguished. So that's proficiency. And so again, this one's supposed to go the other direction, up. And so this bar graph kind of shows you guys those grows and those gains. And you can see 17% more. And so this third graphic is a representation of the percent of students maintaining or making growth. And so we're always trying to improve and grow as we go. And so this is just a good metric for us to see how our instruction is sticking, because students are growing by this benchmark. And so that's the power of having that comparative data to kind of glean from. And so just from, if we're thinking specifically about our reading map, these are some of the highlights. So you have those visuals, but this will kind of frame some of those things that we were seeing from our data. 11 out of 12 grade levels increased the percentage of students at or above grade level. So out of those 12 grades that took the assessment in reading, 11 of those grade levels increased the percentage of students at or above grade level from the previous MAP test. Okay. The second bullet talks about that we had 5 grade levels showing 10% increases to the percentage of students at or above the grade level. That was represented on the bar graph. And I'll call out like grade 4, for example, increased the percent of students at or above grade level by 19% from the fall assessment. So major growth there, a testament to just the efforts in the classroom. If you go down to the third bullet, in grades 3 and 5 and grade 10, 70% or more of the grade level is at or above the grade level standard. And so that's impressive to have that many right there. Specifically in grade 10, you got 88% of the students are at or above the grade level mark at that point. Then we move down to the fourth bullet. The percentage of students maintaining or making growth for each grade level ranges from 41% to 76%. In 6 different grade levels, 70% or more of the students are maintaining or making growth. And so we're watching that growth factor too, not just the achievement. And then these final 2 bullets just kind of capture what I was talking about novice reduction and increasing proficiency. So 10 out of the 12 grade levels have reduced the percentage of novice scores from fall to winter. Highlighting again, grade 5 and 11 reduced the percentage of novice by 21% from the previous benchmark. 10 out of 12 grade levels increased the percent of proficient scores from fall to winter. Notably, grade kindergarten, grade 2, grade 5, grade 11 increased proficiency by 17% or more. And so those are kind of those highlights for us to process. The data on the sheet that I provide the board just highlights some of those things, same things I went over. And you can see those comparisons there for your own. But moving into math, so this is kind of again, we're going to follow that same kind of format. So talking about the comparison and achievement from fall to winter. In fall, this is what it looked like. And now click into winter. And you can see the gains that we're making in the classroom here. We still, like all data, it kind of shows you where to go, what to focus on next. So we still absolutely have areas that we're focusing on, but these benchmarks help us see that so that we can target those areas of growth that are needed. This is, again, now that we're a little bit more familiar with it, the novice reduction visualization. And as you can see, we want to be moving that down, and we have in most of these grade levels. You can see a 16% drop in novice, and so that's something to be proud of. The proficiency, the approach at increasing proficiency here, what stands out is K, 22% increase in the proficiency in that grade level from fall to winter, so that's pretty awesome. So, and then again, the third visualization showing the percent of students maintaining or making growth. So we want to see that. The way that the highlights work, again, I'll just rattle off those bullet points. 9 out of 12 grade levels increased the percentage of students at or above grade level. So they're almost every grade level, again, met that grade level mark. 5 grade levels were showing 10% or more increases in the percentage of students at or above grade level. Highlighting grade 1 and 2 increased the percent of students at or above grade level by 21% from the fall assessment. When we start talking about the actual kind of achievement percentage, in grades 1, 3, and grade 10, 68% or more of the grade level is at or above the grade level mark. In third grade, 76% of the students are at or above the grade level, which is the highest indicator that we had for a grade in our school. The percentage of students maintaining or making growth for each grade level ranges from 27% to 71%. And so again, in 7 different grade levels, 60% or more of the students are maintaining or making growth. We always focus, really zero in on any student that's, yeah, sure, low achievement, but low growth. We really watch that in terms of targeted intervention. And so 11 out of 12 grade levels have reduced the percentage of novice scores from fall to winter. Grade level had the highest mark, reducing it by 16%. 8 out of 12 grade levels increased the percentage of proficient scores from fall to winter. And you saw with the graphic that kindergarten did an excellent job of increasing proficiency, which is what we want to see with those littles. This is kind of a cool celebration that I kind of overview. This has been just one of the many things that we've done when zeroing in on improving instruction. This is specific to math. KMIT, this has been around for quite some time, and we have outside trained staff from the cooperatives come in, and they've run rounds of observations, and specifically around the math teaching practices. So if you teach mathematics, yes, you have your grade level standards, but you also have mathematical teaching practices. And one of the things when Ms. Housekeeper got into superintendency and we were just focusing on improving our math practices, and this has been the focus in PLCs with our teaching and learning coaches, providing feedback and support. But what's really neat is we've had, and these were school administrators, people from the cooperative that come in and observed our teachers in different rounds. This is and this graphic represents, the blue was from last spring. Okay, so when they did their first walkthroughs, and they have a tool, they're trained to look for evidence of these mathematical practices taking place. I'll call your attention to the key because it's helpful. The goal is 2, to be at a 2. But the red represents our fall walkthrough, and then the yellow represents our winter one. And you can see just a testament to focus on, and that's a CDIP focus for us as well, for our improvement plan, and the fruits of that are evident with this walkthrough data. They're still pushing to improve those areas, but we're definitely proud of that because that's just a snapshot into instruction. one of the many things that have been done to just zero in on areas of need. And so that's some just celebrations, a flyby overview of our winter map data, but we're very encouraged by that. But again, that data just helps us calibrate and helps us continue to provide targeted interventions.
And I will say, we had all this snow. We had a very disjointed schedule. I had Mr. Patrick, Ms. Parton, I had other school leaders come to me and say, oh no, what do we do about KMIT walkthroughs? It's on a Friday, Valentine parties are happening, we've been out all of this, with all the weather, do we reschedule? And I said, no.
No.
Because we want a true baseline of where we are. And so I basically assumed that we weren't prepared for these. And so that was the data that we got as a result. And Miss Whitworth, one of our teaching learning coaches, came running down with tears. And she said, this is the happiest day of my life. Carrie Ann was in there. She said, this is the happiest day of my life. Wait until you see our KMIT data. And I said, I wouldn't tell my husband that if I were you.
Yes.
But we are beyond proud because what this shows me is that the work that we've been doing is sticking.
Yeah.
And we're aligned and we've got resources in place and we have a lot of growth to do. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm definitely not saying that. I feel like we can always grow no matter what. But what excites me is I can see the fruits of our labor happening in so many ways.
And we'll shout out Miss Whitworth. Miss Whitworth made this her professional learning goal. I'm her evaluator. And she put big, lofty goals on this because she was going to get in the classroom and support learning this way. And she believed that absolutely would happen. So it's kind of a testament to her efforts with specifically KMIT and her math PLCs. But yeah, super proud and looking forward to the spring data as we continue to just try to improve student learning. So any questions that you guys have?
Josh, help me a little bit. I was watching a TV show last night on KET, and it's my understanding that the state testing is going to be changed so that it is looking more at growth, and that's where we're targeting. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, and one of the things that's still in legislation, and our staff has been very, they've even had the commissioner come down and give the kind of, you guys, some of the board members were able to get to meet him, were able to come up and hear about the local accountability. A lot of this is still in legislation right now, and so there could be changes to that. But one of his, and Ms. Housekeeper can correct me if I'm wrong, but one of his biggest pillars is changing right now, and you guys, when we get into KSA time, we talk about change as opposed to growth. He's really pushed removing the change factor and implementing a growth factor.
Meaning the Fletcher.
Yeah. Yes, the commissioner. And what that would do, and all school districts normally have benchmark testing like this, but it would move that to something a little bit more practical because our staff are they'll get a data point, a baseline in the fall, and they're training their kids, they're targeting kids to improve their learning to the next data point, and then so on. So it really, his accountability model really fosters more of a growth, which is what this, absolutely, you're right, this is what map data shows us.
So if you guys will just reflect back to July when we did a lot of work revamping our district evaluation plan. And as part of that, I had a committee together, we worked on this, and one of the things that we immediately took a shift to, because this is what makes sense, this is what is best for students. In everyone's professional growth plan, they have an individual student growth goal. Now, back in the day when I was doing my K-TIP and all of that, we had a state-required student growth goal. And it was much different. But this was just where were students when I got them? And where did I take them? And so the commissioner spoke that language to our teachers, and it's all about focusing on right here, right now. What can I do with the students in front of me right now? And I've been preaching that for 3 years, and I'm starting to see teachers, literally one teacher last week came running down the hall, waving a paper at me just to show me how excited she was that 3 of her students had made exponential growth. And it was just something that they were doing in the classroom. And so that's the culture shift that we're working on, and spend a lot of hours trying to get there, and I can feel it. I can see it. Kids can see it, and so I feel like we're making progress. But it's slow progress, but we are making it, and our teachers are digging their heels in, and they're giving it their all every day.
And that's one of the things that's neat. When you get assessment data, that gives you a vantage. But other data that we mentioned in other board meetings, but our teaching and learning coaches, our principals, are gathering observational data where they can see that instruction improving, and they're in PLCs and all that. But assessment data also, it's got to transfer there too. And so this is just a nice indicator. We use these because this is our indicator, along with some other data points to help us know where our students are right now and how to target their intervention enrichment opportunities as well. And so it's nice to have that data. I was excited to have comparative data to show you. I think that sometimes helps frame things a little bit when you have a comparison from fall to winter. And so if you guys have any questions about the handout, again, that is telling you in those far three columns the number of students at or above the grade level benchmark, the percent of students meeting benchmark or above for that grade level. And then that also third column tells you just the average percentile. We as administrators will look at that because we kind of know, okay, if our average percentile is here, that's fallen in a good spot for, it's a pretty good indicator for where students are. But we use this, of course, as one of our data points as a measure of student learning. And so.
Any other questions for Josh?
It's exciting to see the growth.
Yeah. So testament to students and teachers there. I'm working really hard. So
Actually, I was in the building when the kids got their scores back from MAP, and I was walking down the hall, and one of them was telling me how many that he had gotten his benchmarks, and he was really excited.
And love that focus on goal setting. And so, we want to continue to foster that with our teachers to just help, when they help those students make a goal, and then they're committed to helping them achieve that goal. Yeah. And so that's good. It's exciting when the kids are excited about just seeing their efforts. So, good
Thank
stuff.
You. Draft academic calendar.
Okay, so you guys have a copy of the academic calendar that has been drafted, and so our DPP, Brian Berta, is the head of that committee, and so we had a committee that fell right in line with what he created the committee based on our board-approved policy on setting that academic calendar. So with that, it includes parent representatives, administrators, board members, community members, and certified and classified staff, right? Aaron, you're also on that. Yeah, I was on it. How about you come up, since Berta's not here, and just share that process? Like what you guys have done. I think it really needs to come from you because it's stated in our board policy, the superintendent is not involved in the academic calendar. What I do is I accept their proposal and then I submit it to the board. You guys got my feedback at the very end, but there was a lot of work when I went into it before I ever got my draft.
There was a lot, and Berta had done a lot himself. He had initially made 2 initial drafts for us to start with that had some stuff that I think schools in the area had been doing that people were interested in looking at. And then what we do, and I know there's 2 different options, but one involves starting school significantly earlier than we do now. So, I mean, we looked at both. We opened it up for people to vote on. And the voting was fairly one-sided.
The late start date.
That's what people wanted, right? But they also, in the comments, we kept it open so they could, throughout this process, put comments in, and a lot of it was they want these kids in school more days. So we put those 2 on the back burner. I know that there were days in there for teachers to plan, I think more than what they were happy with. They would rather have those kids in school those days. So we did a 3 and a 4 and we talked over it extensively. We also put it out. We had the community vote on it. Everyone in the building could vote on it. Again, there was one that was definitely more favored than the other, but again, the comments were these kids need to be in the building more. So we went with the fifth. So it took 5 times what we got, what we thought was the perfect compromise. And Ms. Parton did so much work on this too, as far as moving days around to try to get the breaks certain right of time. I know we had issues with when terms and 9-week grading periods ended, as far as aligning with breaks. And I know we did the best we could to try to fix that, because coming back from a Christmas break, but then going to school 4 more days and then grades are due. These kids have been off for 2 weeks, but then in 4 days, their first semester grades. The high school kids get half a credit for that. So we wanted to try to make those line up the most as possible. Ms. Parton, Mr. Berta did very well figuring that out. So I think we're at 171 on this one. Is that? Yeah.
I want to tell you some things that were absolute. I met with Berta and with Ms. Parton. I said, here are my priorities. Don't bring me a calendar that is less than 170 instructional days. This calendar, draft 5, checks that box.
Yes,
It's 171.
it was a unanimous vote in our committee. We knew that everybody would be pleased with it. It checked really all the boxes that people were looking for.
This also includes, so here was another situation. We had 2 nights a year for parent-teacher conference. The one thing that we heard, well, that our administrators and teachers kind of felt was, first 9 weeks ended in October, but then we kept our parent-teacher conference in November.
For the Thanksgiving
And so
meal.
we had a hard time with that conversation, but we, I guess, as part of the committee, everybody felt like Thanksgiving meal was important enough to keep it in November for that first one. But then they worked some magic for the spring parent-teacher conference, and we have some plans in place. You know, we heard the community, we've heard at the board meetings that parent-school connection and communication is critical. So we've got a plan for, even though we're not gonna meet with parents after that first 9 weeks, we wanna have some interim stop points communications with families, whether it be midterms, whether it be just at-home communication, sending home just a learning update about each student. And so we want to still meet that need, but the calendar includes all of the things. We get it has spring break in there, it still has the 2 weeks for Christmas. And instead of having 6 or 7 teacher work days, we have minimized that to 2 additional plus the 4 that are required by the state. So and just so you know, and I feel like the community needs to know this, our teachers need to know this, as at Williamsburg Independent, we pay our teachers for 186 instructional days. Okay? We pay them for that. They only need 185 to get one year of teacher retirement. But we have students only with this calendar 171 days. So when I got here, it was only 164 days. So we are increasing that, still giving them the 4 holidays, still giving them the 4 paid PD days, 2 days for planning, 1 in the fall, 1 in the spring. And then we want everybody at parent-teacher conferences, so we make sure that those are included as half days. And then we have an opening day and a closing day. So with this calendar, we have maximized everybody's desires. And I absolutely support having this calendar. So tonight is just the first reading.
And I know that those PD days for us were specifically placed for us to be able to have data review, whether that's whenever the state assessment is released from this past year like we did, so we can dive into that, and then reviewing map data as we prepared in the spring, that final push for, the state assessment. So that was strategically placed so we could get that at the right time.
And we're still out before Memorial Day.
Yes.
And it's a late start.
Yes.
So literally we put everything in that we could possibly fit into that calendar. So just take a look at it, and so we can pull it back in the March meeting for the second reading, which is where you guys will either ask me questions in the meantime or push stuff back to the committee. At this time, the committee is still formed, so if you have questions, we can definitely, you let me know, and I'll push those questions to our committee or concerns, and then we can make whatever modifications that are requested before the March meeting.
What are you looking at as far as graduation at this point?
I believe that's on I think it's on the Saturday of Memorial Weekend, if I'm right. Am I right on that one? I've got a copy right here. Okay.
And I want the community to know this is not in concrete yet.
Correct.
But that this
Correct.
calendar process is it's a lot.
Yeah, there it is.
We don't just throw them out there.
Yeah, closing day is Friday the 28th. So then the graduation would be the Saturday, which is the Saturday of Memorial Weekend, right? Yeah.
That's the way it is this year.
But that's I mean, the way the
Draft is a great compromise that
Yeah.
needed to happen.
yes.
And that still leaves us with 3 days for Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
The opening day for school would be with this calendar. The opening
August.
day, if approved, would be the 24th, which is required by all staff. And then students would not come back until the 25th, Tuesday the 25th.
Yep.
And we would still miss 4 old-fashioned days. Because I don't think we can operate school without missing for old-fashioned days. We can't even get our buses through downtown during that day.
We're having trouble doing that now.
Yes, that's true.
And then for election day, there's a Friday and a Monday off for rolling into election day in November, because this is this is midterm election, so there's going to be a lot of, I believe every United States House member is up for re-election. So that's a real big election cycle.
So the fall break was probably the only compromise. We feel like we would always
Yeah.
Halloween bash on the 29th, be off on Friday the 30th, off on Monday the 2nd, off for election day. That would give everybody a 5-day weekend.
Yeah, I feel like that works perfect when we're not going to be in school on Halloween anyway. It's a Saturday this year, so that
And
lets
2 weeks
us
later, we
have the bash, and everyone gets a weekend to relax from that.
Do we have any other insights at this point? No? Okay. Thank you, but you might as well just stay right there.
Figured so.
Erin's now representing WEA.
Okay, well, I believe the last meeting I mentioned about being like a little legislative awareness. It's that time. Boy, was I right on that one. So I think the one thing to talk about is House Bill 500. It is significantly not good for us as a profession and being in, education, public education. So there's a couple hits to it. I know there is some movements on all state healthcare insurance premiums, whether that be us as people who have through the school, state police officers, everybody's in on that one. But they're not targeting higher ranked teachers as they are, unfortunately, rank 3 teachers. And it seems up to, I think I saw 70 to 75% hike on their monthly premiums, which is a lot for someone starting out.
Today, and for rank 3 teachers, it would be at least $500, right?
Yes.
Almost.
It's like a $400 something increase, right? That's our, yeah. It,
And the employer contribution is through the roof, destroyed us.
okay, so that is actually one of the better parts of it, I think, which is not good. The transportation part of it is a little funky because every year since like 2004, they've always amended how they budget transportation. From what I saw, I think they were wanting to cap it at 74% as far as how they reimburse. Somewhere between $100 and $129 million would come out of that. I don't know if that's over the 2-year period or that is a yearly period, but that's the figures that I saw. But the big hit is the SEEK funding, which is taking a 26% hit, and then it's taken, and that would be this coming year because the budget would go into effect July 1, and then with inflation hit in 2028. So the Center for Kentucky Economic Policy did a little math. This is a fantastic group, and they did the math on how this would affect every single public school district in this entire state. And the numbers for us are, it could be worse. It could be worse.
I don't know, we're pretty far down there.
Without inflation, it would be $210,000 SEEK funding hit. With inflation, the next year it would be $426,000. It's 8% per pupil, what they figured up with inflation for us. Negative 8%, right, negative 8%. So there are other schools that are taking a harder hit. I was looking at some of them, me and Dalton were talking, I don't know, there's a couple, I mean, in this area, and unfortunately, one school's taken like a $15 million hit, and they're in the district of one of the sponsors of this budget.
Oh my gosh.
We actually done numbers
Yeah.
what the per pupil amount would be. Right now, the guaranteed base per pupil is $4,586 per kid. And when we bring that down, based on their numbers, which that puts our seat for roughly around 4.1 million. So if we do their new numbers and reduce that to $3,394 per kid, that brings us down to 3.2 million. So we're getting about $1 million hit just from Seek, yeah. So we're going to do all we can to make sure this does not be in the state budget. I was on an action call last night with 600 educators from the state, getting information on what is going to be done and what we can do. Right now, the important thing is that it's not passed out of a committee to go on a floor. So as long as it is not passed out of a committee, we'll do what we can, and we'll go from there. I will pass out information. I've received information on what stuff to put out that I received last night and today from KEA and a group that wants to save public education in the state. So we just know that hopefully everyone can voice their opinion enough that all of our representatives across this state will vote no on this, because there is no benefit for public education in this, and some schools are going to be, I mean, the transportation part for schools that there's one high school in an entire county, I don't know how they're going to, I mean, this is going to be a hit. So hopefully everyone votes no on it. Like I said, it's just in a committee right now. Hasn't came out, hasn't been voted on. So we'll go from there. But the window's shrinking. They've got 6 weeks to pass a budget. So by the time their session ends in 6 weeks, we've got to have one. So that's the time frame we've got, and I know we'll just take it step by step is the best way to do this. But
Final day for their budget submission?
it's the beginning of, as when they have to have it. I believe it was their session ends 6 weeks from this coming Friday.
Okay. Could you find that and send it to me?
Yes.
Final day that they have to send it?
Yes. So that's what we can do.
So our legislators need to hear from our community.
Yes. Contact them,
Bottom
email them. I'll put information out on how you can contact our state house representative, our state senator. You can always contact their office. I mean, we'll just do what we do. You can flood them with what they want, and hopefully if, like I said, there's a lot of elections coming up this November. If people don't listen, then hopefully people that will listen get put into the job. That's all we can do.
Please, I encourage you to send out an email to all staff.
I will. I've got information that I got today in emails and stuff I collected last night through that Zoom call, and I'll get everything out, because this is going to be, they have a super majority, so there's not too, if this wants to happen, right, it happens. You can veto all you want, but they have override veto super majority. So hopefully it doesn't, because hopefully that people see that this hurts us and the communities that they represent very dearly.
Thank you for your work. Now we're to the point where if there's anyone who would like to address the board, this is the delegation's time to do that. Is there anyone present that would like to address the board? Let the minutes show that there's no one that would like to address us today. Let's move on to the action items. The first action item is approval of the Williamsburg Independent Schools 504 handbook. There have been some clerical corrections to the handbook. Are there any comments on this before Dana speaks?
Yes, one of the guiding questions was on the smoking as a 504 eligibility. So we are smoke-free vape-free facility. So under that section, because it is part of the 504 procedures, while they are eligible for 504 services, the WISD, Williamsburg Independent School District, is a tobacco and vape-free campus. Does that suffice with the district?
I would think so.
Okay. And all the other revisions have been completed.
May I have a motion to accept this approval of the Williamsburg Independent 504 handbook?
I'll make a motion.
A second, please.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, the same. And the motion carries. Moving on to the second action agenda, approval of the Family Resource and Youth Services Center's Assurance Certification for the 2026-2028, because this is for a 2-year plan, school year. Are there any comments on that, Ms. Housekeeper? Any questions? May I have a motion to approve this plan? Mr. Patrick gives the motion, and is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Steele, second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, the same. And the motion carries. The third action item is approval to accept the offer of assistance provided by the School Facilities Construction Commission in the amount of $15,799. Is there anyone that needs to make a comment on this?
Dalton, you want to talk about the offer of assistance?
Yeah.
The SFCC offer?
We're gonna go down unless you can get more, so what's the question?
Oh, no, we just,
You just wanna talk?
yeah, I just wanted to talk to you. I've missed you.
No, you did.
I just got done counting the vault too, so we're good on there. We received an email, that the SFCC, is giving, 310 funds back to districts. And then this is our offer of assistance of about $15,000. That'll go into, our 310 fund, our capital outlay fund. And once we receive that, I'll notify you on that next board meeting. You should see it on the balance sheet. I'll put it in, as soon as we get it, but it'll be an extra $15,000 that we could use for anything facilities related or capital related around the campus.
Okay, thank you very much. May I have a motion for the approval of the acceptance of this offer?
Motion.
Second. Third.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, the same. And the motion carries. We'll move on to the consent calendar. All the items listed on the consent calendar have been, agenda, I'm sorry, not calendar. All the items listed on the consent agenda have been shared with the board members to review prior to the scheduled board meeting. May I have a motion to approve this consent agenda?
I'll make a motion.
And may I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say the same. The motion carries. Dalton, we need to move to committee reports. And if you would share some information with us.
Here's the name. We better have a lot to make up for all we're gonna lose.
Well, we've spent all day, fine tuning the budget, and from what we've came out with, without the cut, of this 500 bill, we'll show good standing if everybody follows the budget, keeps the if you ain't got it, you ain't getting it mentality. Roughly about $500,000 to the good. With that cut, in Seek, for this upcoming year, if it does pass, with that $210,000 cut, that's going to put us roughly around $300,000 to the good. we have been proposing a little bump in pay, a raise, trying to fit that into the budget. We've kind of set that off until we can hear back from legislation and see if that bill's going to pass or not. But I think right now where we stand budget-wise, I mean, we went through it today with a fine-tooth comb. I think we've cut budgets that we needed to cut, made sensible reasoning with historical actuals, looking at 4 years of past data for every line item, every expenditure, and coming up with the best possible budget for us. There are some talks about state legislative discussions on not equalizing new nickels. Last I heard from Ms. Housekeeper and what she's been hearing is that they will equalize it, so we've been kind of monitoring that as well, which if they don't equalize will bring our bonding potential down, and it'll just give us a hit to the general fund since we're adding that third local effort.
And if you remember, what I gave you guys is our needs assessment. So, I don't know how you've done this in the past, but we did follow the policy to the T. We did a local needs assessment the entire fall. We identified that process. We had a process of stakeholder engagement. We sent out surveys to teachers and staff and community and students, and I mean, we survey them to death around here just to get their comments and their questions and needs. And then we have our data sources there. I used that to write the comprehensive district improvement plan, which was, it is the roadmap for every expenditure, for everything that we give resources to, and so on. And then it talks about our priority needs for next year, some strengths that we've seen, and then also what are we doing for culture, engagement, and student stability. Okay, so that you can just read through that. Our priority focuses for 25-26 has been strengthening Tier 1 instruction. I think you can see the efforts we've made in that. Increasing assessment literacy, making sure that our teachers are speaking the language of assessment and know how to read it, and so on. You can see those. So as part of that alignment also becomes our budget. We don't spend, Dalton can attest to this, we work very closely to not spend a single penny on something that is not aligned with our goals. We can show you direct alignment to what we're focusing on. And those goals came from the community and the student and staff needs. So nothing is just willy-nilly. We know where every penny is, we can tell you. But we've worked really hard to get there, really hard. Lots of time together to do that. And so on the back of that is our proposed 26-27 draft budget. So if you have questions about that, I would love for you to go through it, actually. I really would love for you to look through it and see if you have questions. I know it's fine print. I can send it to you bigger if you need it. But that is based on our expenditures over the last 3 years compared to what we've spent this year so far, and what we propose will end, like we've had to raise some, lower some, whatever. And so if you can just look at it and let us know if you have questions, because May 30th will be when our actual tentative budget is due to the state. So it's got a revenue and expenditure.
Yeah, so piggybacking on what Tabitha said, we took the numbers that you see here, breaks down Fund 1, Fund 2, Fund 51, Fund 52, Fund 310, Fund 320, Fund 360, and Fund 400. These are all of our funds that we use. And we went through 3 years of actual data that was spent from the last 3 years. Then we projected out what we currently have right now for the 12-month or for the 12 period mark to see if we were going to be over or under that budget, and made those averages and totals accordingly. I've also broke it down, Fund 2, with our state and federal grants. The seek on our local effort and our state match, That's if we do get our equalization, and that's based off our SEEK forecast that came out several months ago. And then you'll see on the right side our expenditures. That's everything that we're spending. The only change from the one that I showed you all last year, contingency is going to take a different total than it was last year. I went through all of our revenue and conservatively got averages for those revenues and made those adjustments. And then I took 10% of that revenue and made it our contingency. So that's where you'll see the contingency change amount there.
Since we're talking broad and we won't talk long, but how are we with property taxes and what is your projection for where we are versus where we gonna be next year? And our enrollment 6 years ago when I was here, it was better. So how has that affected what we're doing, and have we maintained the increase in enrollment, and how is that affected by what we're talking about?
Like student enrollment?
Yeah.
As long as student enrollment stays up, our seat goes up. And as far as taxes go, we don't know the proposed rates for next year just yet. But as far as this year, the end of January, we collected for the month of January $100,000 worth of taxes. Prior to January, we collected $1,034,822, and then the total collections year to date for this tax year is $1,135,540 and 26 cents. And then on that graphic there, it's followed the same trend as last year's taxes, except we do have. Let me find the number here. $125,456.77 more in revenue than we did last year. In property tax, yes.
How much do you have out now?
We have 347 bills still outstanding for a total of $154,398. Yep. And then we have slow months and it trickles. I'll have to pull the data from last year, but we'll start getting some more right before the 20% penalty in March comes about.
Now, the last time you gave us those percentages, they were up, though.
The collection percentage, so that
Yes.
just kind of gives you a snapshot of how we did last year. This year, it was 0.43% less than what it was last year. For January, the collection percentage was 80.82%, and then last January it was 81.25. So we're staying about the same. And then on those graphics, the two graphs that I show for last year and this year, they kind of followed the same trends. So we're getting pretty good data off of that. But as soon as we know what the state is going to give us for options for our tax rates, we'll let you know.
I realize this budget's sort of useless in that you don't have any idea what the crap you're gonna get with the legislature doing.
Yeah, it's kind of hurry up and wait.
This one, because you don't have the good data, I mean, you don't.
Yeah.
You have what you spend, but you don't have what you're gonna get.
Yeah, and it always
this year
changes.
in particular.
Yeah.
Well, and if you look at our salary schedule, and I will just state this, it's the first reading of the salary schedule, but it was my suggestion that we leave it alone. We updated it, made sure everything was nice and tidy looking, but I said, let's leave our salary schedule alone until we know what's happening. So if we approve it as is for the 26-27 year, school year, then when we know the budget, we can always come back and amend the salary schedule.
Yep.
But it just makes it hard to make any decision.
And so
honestly.
we're looking at that for the next board meeting?
It's in the first reading, so.
Right.
It's for
So,
approval next board meeting.
board meeting.
As is, and then if we need to
Right.
amend it, we will.
Are there any other questions? All right, thank you.
Staffing updates? Ms. Carrie Hamlin?
We have 3 new hires this time. We have Kristen Wyatt, she's an instructional aide. Melanie Fort, a substitute, and Haley Huddleston, a food service worker, and no resignations.
Thank you. Are there any board comments? I know several of us are going to the conference this week, and that's all been approved. Thank you, Shauna, for getting that together for us. Do we have any other comments from any of our board members? All right. If that be the case, I will accept a motion to adjourn this meeting. Mr. Patrick is making the motion. Can we have a second on that? Mr. Steele. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, the same. And this meeting's adjourned.